Okay, go to Brett turn 3. Have my Pegasus Knights at the very top declare a charge against his sorceress in the woods. I really think that was just a mistake on his part where he forgot that Pegasus Knights are skirmishers and have a 360 charge ability. At the very bottom, take my Knights Errant, declare a charge against his cavalry. And what happened there is he fled, which is kind of funny because it never occurred to me that he would flee, despite the fact that he already had fled from a previous charge. So go figure. I was assuming I'd beat him in combat and I would end up probably in the rear of that Blackguard unit. When he fled, it really caused me to clip that Spearman unit, which I did not want to do. I mean, I told myself the whole game I do not want to charge them in the front. I know he has got two characters. I know there's an assassin in there, and of course a spearman. My other option was to stop 1 inch away, and I would have done that and just, had he charged me in his turn, just fled, but he had those Dark Riders on the hill on the right-hand side, and on his turn, if he declared a charge with the spearman and the Dark Riders, my guys were sunk. So, it's just one of those things. So I went ahead and charged the spearman in the front. Well, talk about that later. Anyway, so after combat, we have a dead sorceress. My Pegasus Knights ran her down. This really is just another look after before combat. After combat, the spearmen won. Obviously, they killed a few. They didn't chase me down. But luckily for me, if you look on that hill, the Dark Riders are gone. My peasant bowmen really saved the day, and I got pretty lucky with their rolling. So killed them to a man, or to an elf, I guess. And so at least on my turn, I don't have to worry about that. So Dark Elf turn 4. He moved his Hydra at the very top so it could breathe on my Grail Knights. Those guys are so expensive, and they die just as easily as regular Knights. It's my biggest problem with Grail Knights. His Spearman really surprised me. I just assumed he would charge my Knights Errant because he either would have caught me or I would have ran off the board. And for one of those two things not to happen would have been really, really lucky for me. But for whatever reason, he wasn't concerned about them, so he just turned towards my side of the table, which I know I have a Knights of the Realm down there, but my Pegasus Knights, you're not going to hem in. They can just, they can fly over people. So I don't know what he was thinking. I'd like to ask him. But at the time, I was very happy he did what he did. So Hydra breathed. Luckily, because my bowman hit him earlier, he was down a wound. So it was only strength 4, so I lost 1 knight and 1 wound on the damsel. I felt pretty lucky about that. So my turn, take my general and my Grail Knights into the Hydra. Rally my Knights Errant. Had my Pegasus Knights on the right. They were off the board with the sorceress, so now they're back on the board. Took my Pegasus Knights that were in front of the spearmen. I moved them out of harm's way. And my Knights Errant on the left charge his cavalry. They flee again. That's I believe their third flee of the game. And in all the excitement, I forgot to move my Knights of the Realm unit. My plan was to try to just get them away, maybe turn them to the side and march, try to get behind the hill or just something. And I just flat out forgot to move them. So get in here. My Lord gets Killing Blow on the Hydra, and he's just. I'll tell you what, I like that setup. The Bretonnian Lord on a Pegasus with the Killing Blow. He's able to take out some stuff that otherwise is usually pretty difficult to deal with. So Dark Elf turn 5. Blackguard charges my Knights of the Realm. I flee, and I flee right off the table. Yeah, that was disappointing. He takes a Spearman, turns them back towards the center of the table, and rallies his Coldham Cavalry. This turn, I'm just kind of in a jumble, and keep in mind too, I have no interest in getting in combat with the Blackguard, and I don't want to get in combat with the Spearman unless I can get a good flank or rear charge. So what I did is I took my, at least my 2 units of Knights Errant and charged both of them into his cavalry, knowing that I'd either hit him and wipe him out or he'd flee and I would automatically get him. And I think he knew that either way he was going to die, so he just fled and died just to save time. So otherwise, on this side of the board, I'm just conserving points. Take my fast cav and move them to secure table quarter. I don't see them doing any good anywhere else on the board. Same with those Pegasus Knights on the left. I mean, I don't know. I don't see them helping me a whole lot. They could have helped. I could have set them up for a flank or rear charge on the spearmen, but at the time I just decided to get them out of the middle of the board. So there's another look at the board. Also, if you see, my trebuchet's gone. It blew itself up at some point, and my archers went ahead and moved into that building. Again, just trying to get them out of the way. In hindsight, that was really pretty foolish. I should have just stepped to the, let's say, the northwest, if north is up, and that would have, with my skirmishing ability, I could have outmaneuvered him and just kept on shooting at him. But whatever, it's pretty insignificant. Dark Elf turn 6 doesn't have a whole lot to do. He's just trying to angle a spearman so I can't get a flank charge. And this is a bad picture. This is before my movement. What I did is I took those Grail Knights at the very top and I marched them forward and turned them such that they were in the flank of the spearman unit. I mean, I couldn't get a charge, and if I charged straight ahead, I would have been in their front. But once I was in their flank zone, then during the magic phase, my damsel cast Wolf Hunts on her own unit and got a flank charge. So I thought I was being really clever. That spearman unit had already popped its assassin, and it didn't have any characters on the right-hand side, and so I thought I was just in great shape. So and then I even got pretty lucky with my rolling, killed 8 of those guys. And after combat, he didn't have any attacks back, of course. My opponent said, well, there's no need to really count up combat res. Obviously you won, and this unit's unbreakable. That's great. Just great. I knew I had a bad feeling about that unit. I'm really glad I waited to turn 6 to charge him, because had I charged him earlier in the game, that just would have been ugly. He could have moved his characters over and beat whatever unit I took into him. So at the end of the game, that was it. It's obviously a victory for the Bretonnians. He was down to just 2 units, although those are very big units in terms of points, because he has 3 characters in there plus 2 assassins. I mean, there's just a lot of points there. But in the end, I had lost, what, Men-at-Arms, Trebuchet, and I believe my BSB and the unit Knights of the Realm. So most of my points are still on the board as well. Really fun game, and you know, every game I play, I have some kind of strategy when I start the game, looking at the board, looking at my opponent's list. This is one of the few times when my strategy stayed the same the whole game, to avoid these units and try to take care of everybody else and just try to circle around them. And so I was pretty happy with how it turned out, and can't complain about the dice rolling and such. Anyway, that's it. We're 2 games past. That's 2 victories, and we're going into the 3rd game.